Hey, yo! Hey! Hey! What's the matter with you? Who do you think you are? Get on the ground!
Let's start with the case of Patrick Mumford. Patrick had just returned home when two officers showed up out of the blue, saying they had warrants for his arrest. But here's the twist. Those warrants were actually meant for another guy. Strangely, the officers didn't seem bothered by the mix-up one bit.
Stand up. Turn around, put your hands in the car. What happened?
Patrick was understandably nervous after being surprised by several police officers, but he did the right thing and told them his name. But guess what? They're not buying it. Instead of, asking for his ID or trying to check his identity in a reasonable way, they decided to take a different route.
What I do? Man, what I do? Y'all ain't telling what I do, man. You got a warrant. He just came back from his probation officer.
I got taser. You coming out? You coming out? Hey, come out.
Get your hands out now. You got 3 seconds. Hold on, man.
3
seconds.
Do not reach. Get up. Put your hands on the car.
Show me the warrant.
Come out.
Show me the warrant.
2.
Show me the warrant. All right, take it.
All right, move.
Believe it or not, it only took a lightning-fast 38 seconds from the moment the police first approached Patrick to the moment they ordered to tase him. According to the officers, they generously offered Patrick plenty of chances to cooperate, but his resistance left them with no other option but to stun him. And you'd think that would be the end of it, right? Nope. Even after getting tased and detained, it seems like the cops weren't quite done roughing up poor Patrick.
Come on, man. Just off me, man.
He keeps reaching for his back.
Ah!
Quit resisting.
So the cops decided to search Patrick, probably thinking he was reaching for a hidden weapon. But, as expected, they came up empty-handed, except for one thing, his wallet. Now, here's where things took a surprising twist in Patrick's favor. Inside that wallet, the cops discovered his ID. It turned out to be a blessing in disguise for him.
I just seen this fucking lady.
Patrick Mumford.
This lady not gonna tell me that I got a warrant. I just seen her.
Here's the deal, dude.
How long I had a warrant?
I don't know if you got a warrant, because you're not who I'm looking for, but here's the deal. When we ask you for ID, because you look a lot like the person we're looking for, you give us ID. And when you start this whole fighting nonsense, dude, all you had to do is give me this.
But the way you can't.
It's worth noting that the cops never once bothered to ask for Patrick's ID during their initial encounter. In a later report, they claimed they were concerned he might be reaching for a weapon when he was fumbling around in his car. But here's the kicker. If they were worried about his safety, why wouldn't they have been okay with him reaching into his back pocket for his wallet? To add to the frustration, one of the cops decided to take a patronizing tone, telling Patrick he was in trouble for something he didn't even need to be in trouble for. And if that's not enough, poor Patrick is still being manhandled and forced into the hood of their patrol vehicle.
Is there someone here to stay here that looks like you? Think about it.
Hey, Jack. Yeah. That's what he's looking for.
Tell him. Who does he look a lot like?
I don't know.
He knows who it is.
So who is it?
Michael?
He is not Michael.
Okay, I know that now.
Oh, they thought it was my son?
Yes!
Really? They don't even look nothing alike?
And then besides that,
The picture that we got, they look exactly.
Oh, wow. I'm looking at that picture. I mean,
Don't they look alike? Wrong. Okay, are we wrong?
Patrick was hit with some serious charge initially, including obstruction and violating probation. This put his job and his position at the college in jeopardy. However, luck was on his side this time. An internal investigation was launched into the actions of the 4 officers who confronted him, and it turned out they didn't exactly follow the rulebook. As a result, all 4 officers were suspended, and Patrick ended up with a sweet settlement of $100,000. Next up, David Wiggins' case didn't quite have a fairy tale ending. He got stewed by the police, yanked out of his car faster than you could say oops, and it seemed like they hadn't even paused to think twice. Little did they know, he was just as much the wrong guy in this twisty plot.
Hands out the window! Take your right hand, open the door. Get on the ground. On the ground. Did you just run from me? Sir, okay?
David found himself in handcuffs, lying on the ground with a not-so-friendly police officer pointing a gun at him. You see, The cops had gotten all mixed up, thinking David was their guy. The real suspect had just raced away in a car that looked pretty much the same, with a license plate that was a close match. It's an easy mix-up to make, but when you lose sight of someone, you'd think a double check on that license plate would be a good idea. Sadly, they waited until David was in cuffs on the ground with a gun pointed at him before even trying to confirm he was their guy.
Was their guy.
I did not win, I swear.
Since you give me that tag.
Contact to a 2016 Dodge Challenger, last name Green. It's not a hanger. It's clear.
This ain't even him. Here, you good. Look, you're good. That's scary. You got almost the same tag, same car. He must have passed you going through. You good? Good. All right.
David didn't get much more than a simple sorry for the whole mess, and they sent him on his way once they realized he wasn't their guy. But that didn't cut it for David. In July of 2023, he decided to take action by filing a lawsuit against the city of Marion, claiming some serious stuff like gross negligence, civil assaults, battery, and false imprisonment. In his complaint, David tells the story of those 3 agonizing minutes handcuffed on the ground with a gun pressed against his head, not knowing if the next second might be his last. To make matters worse, he felt like the apology was just a cruel joke. As of the last update, this case is still hanging in the balance. Moving next, an FBI agent who worked for the US Air Force got pulled over by the cops. Why, you ask? Well, it was all because of a little thing. His license plate wasn't as visible as it should be. But here's where things get interesting. As soon as those police officers discovered his impressive background, they seemed to switch into detective mode. It was like they were on a mission to find any possible excuse to put this man behind bars.
Sir? Good. All right. What's up? Deputy Troy with the Sheriff's Office. The reason I'm stopping you is your plate's obstructed. Yeah. Whatever that thing's got, you got to take it off, okay? Okay. It's got to be visible within a certain distance. When you went to driving school and a cop pulls you over, what'd they tell you?
Oh, you pull over when it's safe.
No, you pull over immediately. Okay? Let me tell you this. And now you pull over immediately.
Sure.
Because I don't know what you're doing inside this car.
Sure.
Hiding guns. You know what I mean? Officer safety is number 1.
So, right from the get-go, it's clear this cop might have a bit of a super cop complex. See, there's no absolute rule that says you have to pull over immediately for every little reason. Safety and traffic flow are important after all, but of course, it's a good idea to find a safe spot to stop as quickly as you can. Slamming on the brakes and swerving like a race car driver isn't exactly the best move, especially if there's no shoulder to pull over onto. But hold on, this isn't where the cop's storytelling ends.
POC, and I used to work security at Harris.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, I'm a contractor.
Okay. Do you have insurance on this thing?
My partner, huh?
Do you have insurance on this thing?
Yeah.
Your partner or what?
Now, my partner called me. I'm a contractor with Southwest Gas.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to go over there and then get him logged into his computer.
No guns inside the car?
Nah. No.
Terminate him.
What do you got right there up front?
Oh, that's a siren. I contract security.
You contract
so
security?
some of the work requires to have a siren.
Turn it on?
Sure.
It's got whip bags in the back too. Go ahead and step out, man.
No weapons or anything like that?
Nah.
All right, I'm gonna take you out like this just to check. Okay, go fist that one for me. So you're not like law enforcement, right? You're not a law enforcement officer?
Yeah.
Okay, so you said you work security, right? Okay.
I'm a security contractor.
Copy. Whose car is it? Who?
So I'm gonna put these on for now, okay? Because we're relaxed.
He is still clueless about why he's suddenly being slapped with a pair of cuffs. He can only guess it might have something to do with those flashy lights behind him, but wait for it. Because here's where things go from odd to downright bizarre. When these cops catch wind of who this guy used to work for, the whole situation takes a turn.
Why haven't you taken the lights off of there?
No, I do contract work, so I have to have lights on this vehicle for some of the work.
They shouldn't be that color though.
Yeah, they shouldn't be red and white, brother.
No, it depends on who you're contracting with. If you contract with law enforcement agencies, it's different.
Which agencies do you contract with?
The various ones. DOJ.
Name some. 8 DOJ?
Sure.
So you have a contract?
I've worked for DHS, yeah.
Okay, so do you have a government ID?
I have a contractor ID.
Where's that?
It's in my, it's my hood.
Where'd you get this?
That's issued to.
Issue 2?
Federal Bureau of Investigation badge?
Now, These cops have the inside scope on our agent's identity, but that doesn't seem to put a leash on their enthusiasm. They decide to go way beyond their regular duties and start poking around the agent's belongings without even bothering to ask for permission.
No guns, right?
Yeah.
Inside the car?
Yeah.
Okay. Who, because, like I said, man, too. Some money in. Put that back in, so I put it in the bag, okay? So the reason that you're in cuffs, okay? Unless you're a sworn officer.
I know in Nevada everybody stays.
Yeah, you're not allowed to have red and blues.
Sure.
Right? Because then you
Sure.
could easily impersonate
Right.
a police officer.
Sure.
So who issued this to you?
My former employer.
Your former employer? So you used to work for the FBI at one point?
I've contracted with the Department of Justice and the FBI and other.
Here in
Reno.
Here in Reno? Where's their office at, or what?
Resident agency. It's off of. It's next to Wells Fargo. It's right by the traffic circle.
Okay. I'm just throwing it out because I'm not going to where they're at.
These officers were clearly not thrilled that the agent had answers for everything, so they resorted to a sneaky tactic. They started throwing questions at him that they knew he couldn't answer, all in an attempt to make him look bad. It's a pretty manipulative and corrupt move, to be honest. They went on to ask him where his federal credentials were, and he told them he didn't need them because he was not currently working for the federal government. They mentioned his FBI badge, and he admits he used to be a task force officer with the FBI, specifically with the Safe Streets program. The officers were concerned about the FBI badge and whether the agent got it legitimately. They also seemed to be troubled by the lights on his car, but in reality, they couldn't search the agent without proper cause, and their actions were against the law. The situation is a bit fuzzy, as it's not clear if the agent was breaking any laws by having those lights, especially since he had legitimate reasons for them. In the end, the officers detained him not because he did something wrong, but because they thought he might do something wrong. Kind of like arresting someone with a legal gun because they could use it for a crime. And just when you thought these cops couldn't get lamer, something like this happened. Here, a man was wrongly blamed for robbing a bank, and even more shockingly, accused of shooting someone in the head. In the wee hours of April 23, 2022, the Grand Junction Police Department received a rather unsettling phone call.
911, Azonica, what's the address of your emergency?
704 Horizon Drive. I heard gunshots outside on Horizon Drive within a minute ago.
How many did you hear?
Later that morning, the cops got another call from a nearby hospital. This time, they found out about a patient who had come in all by themselves, but with a pretty scary situation, a gunshot wound to the head. It turned out that this poor person got hurt on Horizon Drive, which coincidentally was the same place where those gunshots were heard at 3 in the morning. A few hours later, a guy named Aaron needed to make a quick pit stop at the gas station. He was getting ready for a big marksman event he had lined up for the day. Sadly, his plan hit a roadblock because the gas station he was aiming for happened to be right there on Horizon Drive too.
I went to a gas station this morning to grab some stuff, and they were saying there was a shooting at 3 o'clock in the morning. So they have traffic blocked going out on the 70. So we might want to look to see if that's gonna...
Aaron had no clue that traffic would be the least of his problems on that fateful day. After making a pit stop at the gas station, he set off to return to his hotel to juice up his phone. On the way there, he took a wrong turn, missed an exit, and had to use his blinker to pull off a U-turn right in front of a police blockade. He parked there for a quick 5 minutes to change his phone while waiting for his friend to arrive in their car. Afterward, he made another stop at yet another gas station to wait for his other friends to join in the adventure. But it was precisely at this point that Aaron found himself approached by the police.
Can I help you?
Yeah. Would you mind rolling down your window real quick?
No. What do you need?
I need you to identify yourself.
No, why?
Because
All right.
you're leaving the area
Hold on.
where a shooting occurred. Okay, well, can you please roll down your window more so I
No.
can talk to you?
No. What do you need?
All right, well, I need to identify you.
No, you do not.
My name is Officer Posadas with the Grand Junction Police Department. And this is my corporal right here. This is Corporal Church
Okay.
as well.
Okay.
All right, so I need you to identify yourself.
No, that's not how it works. I have rights as an...
What Aaron is saying is entirely true, and he's well within his rights to not share his identification. However, that doesn't always mean it's the smartest choice. In this case, Aaron really wants to stick to his rights, but the cop isn't too happy about it. This is when things begin to heat up fast.
You do not have articulable suspicion that I've done anything.
I actually do.
What crime do you suspect me of committing?
Possible attempted homicide.
You suspect me, actual me, of committing possible attempted homicide.
Well, your cooperative behavior right now does not help your cause.
No, I've done absolutely nothing. I pulled into a gas station because my friends are here, because we're going to...
Keep an eye, they're associated.
Meanwhile, Officer Posadas tries to explain why Aaron was considered a suspect. Apparently, it's because the area of the crime matches, along with a similar colored vehicle. The description they got was for a dark-colored sedan, and some witnesses mentioned that one of the suspects might be of African-American descent. Given this information, it's understandable why the police might have suspected Aaron since he's a black male in a similar car. But things took a weird turn as they dug deeper into the official report. It turns out there were actually two suspects, one white and one black, and a more detailed description of the vehicle matches the one Aaron's friends were driving. It seems like the cops were ignoring all signs and unfairly targeting Aaron for no apparent reason. This became even more evident as they let his friends go, but kept Aaron at the scene. Aaron protested, pointing out that his buddies were also in a dark sedan, but the officers weren't stopping or questioning them.
My buddies that just left, they were also in a dark sedan, but you aren't fucking stopping them and questioning them.
Okay, well, I'm sorry that
Nope.
Sorry that you
Shut
feel
your
that way.
fucking mouth. I don't want to fucking talk.
You're not going to tell me how to talk, all right?
You shut your fucking motherfucking mouth.
Corporal, come up here. It's not working. He's currently recording on his phone, but he's highly uncooperative with me, screaming and yelling at me. Told him that his vehicle matches the description, gave him blah, blah, blah. He's very upset right now. Why are you not cooperative?
Because I don't have to be cooperative with your investigation.
Well, you have to ID yourself.
No, I do not. Tell me why I have to ID.
Well, Colorado state law says you do.
I want you to explain why me as a person, have to ID to you.
The situation got tense as Aaron recorded the interaction on his phone and became increasingly uncooperative with the police. The officers kept asking for his name, even though his friends had already confirmed it matched the vehicle's registration. Got even more absurd when Aaron requested the sergeant's name and the officer refused to provide it. It's worth noting that the Grand Junction Police Department requires officers to identify themselves upon request, but the sergeant in this case refused. Aaron was never told why he was targeted so directly at the scene. The police reports claim it was because of the U-turn he made, but Aaron maintained that he had to make the U-turn because the road was closed ahead, and he actually did use his turn signal, as evidenced by his dashcam footage. An internal affairs investigation was launched, but it concluded that the officers did nothing wrong. Aaron has filed a lawsuit against the Grand Junction Police Department, and the investigation is ongoing. All in all, these stories reveal the shocking mix-ups and abuses of power within law enforcement. From Patrick Mumford's ordeal to David Wiggins' unjust detainment, the FBI agent's questionable stop, and Aaron's wrongful accusation, these cases are eye-opening. But it isn't always the cops that are a flaw. Watch our video on how dumb Karens fight the cops to know better. Like, share, and subscribe to stay updated. See you in the next one.